Hey there, this is the Black Opinionated Woman, also known as B.O.W, coming back to you with another video while I am on vacay. So, look, for those of you who are watching me and you're new to my channel, I like calling myself a B.O.W because I always have a lot of opinions. Um, I think the biggest thing is I just want to let people know that when you see me push out a video from vacation, do understand by the time you see the video, I'm already home. I just don't like people knowing when I'm not home. So I get an opportunity to record videos while I'm on vacation, but I just set them to air when I return. Try not to come this way, okay, hon? So anyway, just want to let you know that I'm sitting here. I've had an opportunity to have a whole bunch of conversations with people, and this is one of the things I wanted to record. I haven't had a chance to record this particular video. One of the things I just wanted to say was that do me a favor, can you not do that? Thank you. So one of the things I wanted to say is that yeah, parenting is hard. Parenting is really, really difficult. Okay. If you're trying to do it right, then it's going to be hard. Now, before I get into this, let me just go ahead and put out my banner. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Let people know that you know, or at least YouTube know that you're a fan of everything that I say. I'm amazing. So you want to hear more content from me. So go ahead and share, like, all that good stuff. Um, yeah, I mean, your parenting is hard. Parenting is hard. Let me tell you, I fail every single day. I keep saying that let me tell you the reason why. Number one, I start off with trying to be patient, but I never end up being patient because there are times when I let off some expletives that are not quite ladylike. Um, and I keep trying to get better. I've gotten better at times, but sometimes I'm not. Yeah, I could do better. I hate that there are times when I use language that I shouldn't be using. Okay, and I try to practice kindness and patience, but it doesn't always work out because let me tell you something: my kids can really try my nerves. So yeah, I fail all the time. I hate the fact that there are times when I'm yelling at my kids unnecessarily because I've reached max capacity. And I'm like, stop! You know, after I've said it 20 times. I feel sometimes that I struggle with my kids because I try really hard to make sure that they support each other. And yet my kids are quick to bomb each other out in public. I'm like, we don't do that. We're a family unit. I try to explain to them that they should be supporting each other. I teach my kids if something is wrong with one sibling and if you see something happening to them, you are to jump in. I don't care if they're as wrong as two left shoes, two left feet. We'll work it out later. But my kids don't always get that message and they don't always realize that they are family, that they're a unit. So it does hurt me that apparently I have not taught that. Some other children and other families, they've gotten that lesson. Yet and still, I feel like my kids don't get it. So I feel like I've definitely failed. I feel like I failed when there are times when I can't make it to every single school um, event. I'm like, well, mom also has to work too. So I try to make it to some things. I make it to all the sporting events or the ones I can make because I can't be in two places at one time. So we have to rotate who goes to what events. Um, but yeah, the kids not supporting each other is a big deal to me. I that definitely troubles me because I feel like I should be creating and fostering this family unit. And if they're not getting it, then what am I not doing right? Or maybe my kids are just ding dongs. I don't know. I mean, like, sometimes they do like revel in their ding dongery. So I'm like, I'm gonna need you guys to get it together. I struggle with getting them to have matching socks. I finally just gave up on it. I gave up on the matching socks thing. It's just like apparently they just can't do it. I don't know if everybody is just like I don't know. I don't know. Um, I think I struggle with making sure that my children care to bother. And when I say that, I want them to care. I want them to bother. I want them to be aware of some of the privileges that they have. Like I said, we're not like wealthy, but we do okay. And sometimes I'm not so sure they get that. At one point, I had them volunteering at a pantry, but I feel like I think the kids are just going to get that lesson when they get it. But I definitely want them to care to bother more. I want them to be appreciative within our family unit and just from the outside world. Um, Sometimes I struggle with whether or not am I not nurturing enough or am I doing too much? At what point is it not letting them grow up? And at what point am I not giving them enough? There are times when I feel like I may be too hard on my children. So I feel like on a daily basis, I have failed them more than I have succeeded with them. You know, between me yelling, between me cussing, between them fighting all the time, between them not caring to bother about anything. Socks gate, I mean, like the whole sock thing, like, I don't know why it just bothers me so much. But socks gate, it's a problem. Um, I think one of the biggest things that probably bothers me the most is when I go in hard on my children and then they have to get on a bus and go to school. That is one of the, those are one of the times when I feel like an utter piece of trash. Because the one thing I don't want to do is send my child out the door feeling like, you know, who knows what. You never know. Like, is that the last moment that I'm going to see them? I don't know. I don't want that last moment with me being like, didn't I tell you? Like, mm-mm. So sometimes I do feel bad after I've bombed out one of my children. Like, look, let me tell you what your job is. Your job is to get your butt on that bus, take your little hind parts to school, and keep your mouth shut. I don't want to hear anything. I better not get any emails or any phone calls because you can't keep your mouth shut or you got too much to say or whatever. Whatever. You can't sit down. Sit your little butt in that seat. You've got one job to do. And I should not hear anything. I'm like, it's just easy. Go to school, learn something, be quiet. You get recess, you get downtime, and that's at all levels. You know, I hate when I have to do that because there's times when I've had to go all the way in. So it doesn't make me feel good that I send my children out of the house sometimes with a message like that. So then I've tried to do better with reaffirming how much I love them and know that they can do it and try to support them. But to be honest, I feel like every day is a failure. Every day I have failed my kids. I'll tell you what, I feel like out of my four kids, there's always somebody on one of the teachers' radar. I'm like, why is it that I always have one? I get like not one time. I've got some stories about my children going to school that you'll be like, for real? I'm like, no, this really happened. Like, I'm just kind of like, can y'all just not? Like, how hard is it to go to school, just sit down and shut the bleep bleep up? If you only knew, if you only knew the stories. And for those of the people who know some of my stories, and they trust me, some of them are funny. People are like hee hawing at my expense, of course, because my kids can't get it together. But yeah, and I kept this at a high level. But I mean, there's so many ways we can go into it. For those, there are parents who have it much worse than I do. Maybe they have to work double shifts. Maybe they never attend any of their children's sporting events or plays and music things and stuff like that. But you know, like I said, I kept it at a, I don't want to say high level, but they are real things. I think the biggest thing is when I go off on my kids and then send them out of the house. I don't feel good about that. Um, but like I said, when you're trying to raise kids, if you're trying to do the right thing, it's usually is quite hard. There are times that I'm like, I'm not talking to you right now. I don't want to talk to you. I don't like who you are right now. And I'm sure it hurts, but in the same token, it's more for like, hey, I need time away from you too because you're doing too much. Or when your kids are not appreciative, or when they say things, and I'm like, who do you think you're talking to? And of course, they correct themselves, but I'm like, the fact that they had the audacity to think that they could say certain things, it's like you want to allow for them to be able to express themselves, but I'm like, where's that line drawn? Now, my kids aren't grossly disrespectful, but every once in a while they try me, and I have to get their minds right. Um, I think the biggest thing is you just you love your kids, you want to do the right things, and you feel like you're always failing. Like, why can't you get this? Like, what is it about this scenario that you can't just understand? Why can't you just go to school and keep your mouth shut? Why can't you do this? Why do you have to pick a fight with people? Why are you always crying? Why are you so emotional about everything? Everything should not be that emotional. Hey guys, can you not do that? Thanks. So I'm like, I think sometimes I feel bad, like when I come home, I'm exhausted knowing that I gotta get them ready for whatever thing. And every once in a while, I'll try a new meal, and they're like, "This sucks," and I'm like, "Yeah, it does suck," but I feel bad because I was at work and I didn't have time to plan, so I tried to throw something together. This is why I let my husband do it now. He's better, at certain aspects. Like I can make more things than my husband, but my husband is probably a better cook than me. I'm sure he is. But anyway, I just want to say I fail every single day at parenting. Every single day. It is by the grace of God that they wake up every day and everything is functioning. But let me tell you what I do. Let me take this off. These are just my opinions, by the way. That's it. Like everybody has a different way of looking at this, but this is how I look at it. The one thing I try to do is after the day is over, I just look at that day is done. I get that day over with. Okay, like that day is behind me, and every day is a new opportunity for a new day. I also realize that I am not unique. I am not the only one who's ever felt like this before. So don't wallow in self pity. Just try to just try to course correct as much as possible. I'm not unique. This isn't just unique to me. And I hope that anybody who's watching this will take that message with them too, let that resonate. Um, Everyone goes through periods like this. I also think that it's important to say you did better than what you think you did, because you know what, the kids are healthy and they do laugh and stuff like that. So maybe they are okay. You're doing something right. Like I have to find some slither or something, because oftentimes it's not good. Sometimes I feel really, really bad. But I also tell my kids, like when they get upset with me, I'm like, I may not be the mother you want, but I'm the one you got. And there's nobody who's going to fight harder for you or go hard for you like your mother. Okay. So I always make sure I leave that, I take that message for myself, but I make sure my kids get that message. Um, Sometimes I do enjoy a glass of wine to calm my nerves. That is my coping mechanism. Not every day, no, but sometimes I'm like, it is what it is. That's what I'm going to need. I think it's important to have some form of an outlet. I think the biggest thing that hurt me the most was when I stopped being active, especially towards the lockdown due to the pandemic. When I had the outlets, I felt like I was a lot more healthier physically and mentally. And now that, I'm a little heavier, I don't feel like I am at my best, physically, mentally, that type of thing. So I think outlets are important. I think that we need to continue to have outlets to counteract just trying to just raise a family and taking care of everybody's needs. We got to take care of ourselves. And sometimes I'll say this, it's okay to just let things fail around the house or whatever. Like sometimes I have to say, not today. I'm not going to do this today. I'm not going to worry about this today. Just for today, I'm just going to do nothing or care about nothing. I'm not going to worry about these things, because if you're not going to do it, then you're never going to feel good about yourself. You're never going to give yourself any grace. I will say that there are times when I'm like, I don't want to say envious, but kind of envious of parents in two kids home, two children homes, two child homes. Is that right? Because I feel like with me having four kids, there's never enough of me to go around. So I feel like my children are always getting shafted. At least when you have two kids, two parents, one parent can deal with one can deal with the other. Not to say that it is the same, but let me tell you, my house is just like ridiculously dysfunctional. We are all the way dysfunctional. Um, and it's tough because, you do your best to try to run a tight ship, but my ship is never right. I feel like we're always off course. Like you do the best you can, and people are always like, "Oh, you guys did great." On our way here, we were on a flight, and they were like, "Your kids are so well behaved." I'm like, "They sent their representative." I'm like, because they don't act like this. But they were well behaved, and maybe I should have just taken the compliment. But I know most of the time, like my house is dysfunctional. The amount of fighting and the silliness that goes on, I'm like, please stop. Can y'all just for once stop arguing, stop fighting, stop crying over something? But yeah, I definitely feel guilty because sometimes I feel like my kids are getting neglected. I don't feel like I have enough time to get to everybody, and I don't have enough time for myself. And I'm sure my husband feels the same way. I feel like because there's so many of us, there are times when I have to correct in public. Now, I am not going crazy in public. I'm not one of those. But if I have to be, I will because it's my business. But usually, if I have to correct in public, which I try not to do, I try to have them get close and now look, I need you to get it together. I try to whisper in the ear or something along those lines. But when they really can't get together, I'm like, hey, let me do what I told you to do or whatever. I don't like to correct in public because I know I would be embarrassed if it happened to me. I do recognize that these are human beings and we are all imperfect. But at the same time, if I have to, I will. But then it sucks because now it's like, oh, I can only imagine their house. I mean, there are times when my house is quite fine, but it's tough. It's a really tough place to be in. I just feel like with more than two kids, I think the opportunities to get into it increases. I think it might even be exponentially because it's just too many options of who you want to fight with on any given day. Let me tell you how many times I've been so sick and tired, like of my kids and my family, is so exhausted from working and everything else. You know, you do a little laundry and you have to do that same little laundry over and over again because it was left in the washer because somebody didn't put it in the dryer. So you got to run another cycle. I mean, it's like those kinds of shenanigans. You're like, why can't we get this right? Why can't we just go ahead and get this done right the first time? I see people who keep really perfect homes, and I feel like I'm barely surviving. I mean, my house isn't dirty or anything like that, but like you've got homes that should be in like Better Homes magazine, and I'm like, child, every day I gotta clean off my countertop. So yeah, anyway, what I try to do is offer myself a little bit of grace, but ultimately, look, I feel like I fail every day. I fail at raising my kids on a daily basis, every single day. But the one thing I do is I recognize, like, okay, well, this day is over. They survived another day. Somebody thought I was fit to raise these kids, so they survived another day. And God bless you. And I guess we'll do it again tomorrow. And let's see. Anyway, that's it. Let me know what your thoughts are. You can go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Go ahead and just hit it. Yeah, I'll give you that reminder. Hold on a second. Go ahead and hit it. Go on, hit the thumbs up right now. Um, I would appreciate your feedback and your thoughts on this. And again, I am actually back at home by the time you get this message, the way this is going to broadcast. But I've had some time now while I'm here to record some of the videos I've wanted to record, and especially after having several conversations. Thanks a lot for listening. Do come back to the channel and let me know if you want me to have a conversation about something else. All right, get ready to roll up out of here. I may be doing another one shortly. Bye.